Star Sap Tours.
I'm learning so much here. Everyone should visit at least once in their life.
That's what I'm doing right here.
Steer clear of the doctor here. She really seems to have a problem with tourists for some reason.
I mean, I have to go talk to her.
Boy, am I glad they have a Chunks here.
Why, hello there! I'm Bill Starsap of Starsap Tours. Let me tell you, this place is full of history and interesting facts.
Golly.
For instance, did you know that New Homestead was one of the first colonies established outside of Earth? It's been populated in some capacity for over 200 years.
That's incredible. I had no idea.
Yes, sirree, and that's not science fiction, it's science fact. There's a lot more history where that came from. So what do you say? I've got an opening. I could take you on a tour right now if you'd like.
Sure. Wait, no offense, but Starsap is an unusual name. Sounds almost made up.
None taken, I get it all the time. If you think it sounds made up, well, that's because it is. I come from an eccentric family. Back in the early days of space travel, generations ago, my ancestors were really into science fiction. They wanted a name that seemed like it fit into the stories they grew up with, so they changed their last name, and the Starsap family name was born. Used to be Bramblefoot before that.
Ugh.
Their ancestors liked a different type of fiction.
Okay. Well, what do you recommend seeing while I'm here? Anything to avoid?
Definitely check out the Brown Horse Tavern. Good food, great atmosphere. Avoid spending too much time outdoors. It's freezing out there. Any more than that, and well, I'd be giving away the tour for free.
All right, well, yeah, sure. Look, go ahead and take me on a tour then.
Excellent! You won't regret it. My tours are one of a kind.
I bet.
Now, there's just the matter of price. The going rate for a genuine Starsap tour is only 100 credits.
I'd like to, but that's more than I was hoping to spend.
Well, 100 credits is very reasonable, I think.
I don't know, you kind of pulled a bait and switch on
I
me.
assure you it wasn't intentional. I really should have been upfront about the price. I thought maybe you saw one of the flyers. Maybe I could do something for you.
Yeah, a little deal, I'm sure we can work something out.
I'm glad you understand the position I'm in here.
What is that music playing? What the fuck? So you're saying no now, but if I know you enough, you'll say yes eventually, right? No. I knew you were a reasonable person.
That doesn't mean I'm a
Ah, what?
Sorry, but that's the price, and I'm not willing to go any lower right now. So what'll it be?
I'll try again.
Well,
I'm sure your tour is great, but you haven't really sold me on
I
it.
know, I gotta work on my pitch a little. Maybe I could give you a discount just this once to prove my tour is worth it.
There's no reason for us to have a problem, is there?
Yeah, I hope so. Tell you what, I like you. This one's on the house, but if you enjoyed the tour, I'd really appreciate if you'd tell all your friends about me when it's done.
Yeah!
So let's get this show on the road, eh? All right,
can't
so
believe people
this is
actually
New
live like
Homestead's
this.
main concourse. This underground area didn't exist when the original outpost, Titan Astro Base, was finished in 2130. Follow me. We'll come back here by the end of the tour and talk about the museum collection.
What's up with the music?
Let's go see
Okay.
where people live. Now
I'm
remember,
sorry,
these
but
people
what don't
aren't
you get?
actors. They actually live here,
Like,
so
what's the big
try to be
deal?
respectful of
It's
that.
just another dead
While
world.
the original inhabitants of the Titan Astro Base lived in pods like you saw up above, they transitioned down here when this section of the base was finished in 2144.
Makes sense. It's
Space
probably
is
way warmer down here.
Extremely limited, so you'll notice some overflow here. But more residences also exist on lower levels, which are inaccessible to tours.
Wow.
I'll stop at each of our destinations if you want to look around, or if you have any questions for me.
Okay.
I kind of want to try food from that Chunks place, but my papa says it's just a bunch of junk food for tourists.
Well, hey, at least the kid didn't pickpocket me. What's back here? Is this a residential area? Clinic, lounge. Oh, the angry doctor must be over there.
Have any questions so far?
How many people live here?
I'm not sure the exact count, but New Homestead is a fairly small colony. What you see is what you get for the most part, except for some other people who live in the private lower levels.
I want to see the private lower levels.
Particularly security, and yours truly, even commute from other worlds.
Really? Wait, as in like you live somewhere else and come here for work? I mean, obviously when you can, I assume, like, you know, travel from star systems in the matter of like seconds to minutes to even hours, it's probably not that bad, but wow. Okay. Can you tell me more about how people lived before this was all built?
The original Titan astrobase had more habitation pods on the surface connected to some of the old structures you may have seen in the back. As the colony grew, the base was expanded underground, and those hab units were recycled into materials used down here.
Smart. Okay. So why does the overflow area look cramped?
Sadly, it's difficult to get additional construction done inside these underground caverns. So for now, additional populations are housed in these stacks of old shipping crates. As you might expect, this is where some of the less wealthy can afford to live. It's not glamorous, but they are functional and cozy.
Okay. Let me check this out in more detail.
Oh, sure, I'll be here waiting. The locals love to talk with tourists, but they'll let you know if they're busy. So please respect them.
Yeah, Bill, I'll try. So let's see. Does this have a name? Storage?
It's a little weird that people come here to see what early colony life was like. To me, it's just how we live.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to live in a place, like, not so much like this, but in a place that gets tourists walking through my home like this. That part would be, whew.
Some say New Homestead is a backwoods world. Maybe it is, but that doesn't really bother me.
I was holding E on her. I had to, like, turn around and let go before I, like, started the conversation and interrupted her.
Oh, you don't really want to talk to me. I'm just a nobody from the crates. Besides, I'm not really good at talking to tourists about New Homestead. If you're really interested in our history, talk to Maurice. He's a lot better at that than I am.
I'm not sure I'm equipped to deal with whatever you've got going on. No. I'd love to talk with you, really.
You do? I mean, sure. I don't know what I can tell you, but if you want to talk, I don't have anything else I need to do right now.
You mentioned something about the crates? What's that?
The crates are what we call the living quarters for the poor people, like me. They're made from old shipping containers. We have to make do with the space we have here. They're comfortable enough, I guess. And no one on Titan is well off to begin with, but you can tell that people look down on us, especially some of the tourists.
That's a little ridiculous, especially since, I don't know, we don't have, like, exact numbers or, like, the ratios of how things are in comparison to, like, real life Earth, but surely there's probably plenty of people who live here who chose to live here because they genuinely like the place. I mean, we know that for sure. So people shouldn't look down on them, even though,
Can
like...
I go now?
Oh, I'm sorry, sir. What do you do here in Homestead?
Well, I'm trying to finish up my undergrad schooling, actually. I want to be a physicist like my grandmother. Then, who knows what. But I also do some odd jobs here or there for money. Sometimes I help Jay out at his shop, and he gives me stuff in return. Sometimes I help Anya clean up at the Brown Horse when she's short-staffed. That sort of thing.
Hey, that's respectable. How do you feel about your home being a tourist destination?
It's not as bad as you'd think. I like talking to off-worlders, especially people my age. It gives me ideas for what I want to do when I'm done with school. Because, honestly, I'm not sure I want to stay here. It'll always be my home, but as soon as I can afford to, I'd love to explore my options.
Hell yeah. I mean, you've got the whole galaxy at your disposal, I guess. So you're having trouble with your studies?
Okay, well, no. Not the studies specifically. Like, I get good grades when I'm able to apply myself. But I'm poor. I just don't have the kind of money to be a full-time student and support myself. Even living in the cheap-ass crates. I keep having to take odd jobs just to put food on my plate. And when I do, my grades suffer. I just feel like I'll be stuck in a rut forever.
I'm just reading the options. I was gonna say, yeah, I'm down to like, wait, hold on. Okay, I just realized, I thought that said 2,000 credits. It's actually 20,000 credits. Look, consider this a scholarship.
What? Really? I don't know what to say. This is beyond kind of you. I mean, I don't even know you, but wow, thank you.
I'm pleased that you realize the importance of a decent education.
It like completely swapped conversations over to her. Oh, you mind if I ask you some personal questions?
Not at all.
I bet you don't have anything new. Yeah, okay.
So long.
Thanks again for what you did for me. I'll remember your generosity.
Of course.
Later.
Hey, we had the money, and I mean, we gave her proportionally a lot. There are ships that cost surely less than what we gave her. Adrian Brasilla's diary. Well, surely she wouldn't mind. Things have been tough since Mom left and Dad died. I'm very alone here, but I'm hanging in there. Dad was never quite the same after she left, and Mom, well, I'm glad she's gone. I never seemed good enough for her, and her new boyfriend was kind of a jerk. I'm finishing up school, and then hopefully I can get out of here too. But it's hard because even though my classes cost next to nothing, I still have lots of expenses, and I barely have enough to eat. I only earn scraps from Jay and Anja. It's not like they have a ton of creds either. And because I have to take time away from my studies, my grades suffer. It sucks. Why is everything so hard? How do other people do this? No one around here has really gone to college except for Dr. Lakota, and maybe that new lady, Joyce. Dr. Lakota doesn't really have time for me, and the few times I went for advice, she was just like, stick with it, kid. You'll get there if you put in the work. I don't know what to do. I thought writing it down would help, but now I just have a place I can remember how bad I feel right now, so that's cool. Anybody else in the crates that I can talk to? Small moonshine jug. Can they close their crates in the night? It doesn't super seem like it for some of these. But these aren't like too bad. They're not too great either, but shit, this is like a New York closet apartment. Although those toilets, what the fuck kind of...
We used to get more tourists than we do these days.
What the fuck is this? Oh my god.
I could really go for some of Anya's cooking over the Brown Horse.
Why don't you go over there then?
Lots of history here, if you're into that sort of thing.
I can't have her chunks cake. Alright. Nothing in this corner? Damn.
I know you didn't have to give me money, but thanks. I appreciate it.
Yeah, just don't mention anything to this guy over here. I don't think he'd be happy if he found out that I gave you 20,000 and I cheap-assed him for fucking 100. Dr. Lakota?
If you take one of those stupid tours, make sure to follow the rules. They're for your own safety and my sanity.
She doesn't sound too bad. Hello.
Great. Another tourist. Let me guess. You slipped on the ice and need a doctor to wrap your sprained ankle?
Nope, you're completely wrong. Actually, I was looking for a doctor, but not for that.
Well, that's a relief. Sorry if I sounded a bit hostile. It's just frustrating sometimes that I have to devote so much time and energy to outside people when our own people need me more. Anyway, what can I do for you?
I truly don't know. I can use some medical supplies.
I've got some stock I can sell to tourists or travelers like you.
Okay. Anything super new? Ooh, junk flush. We want those. Oh, we have more of these. Suppresses addiction symptoms for 10 minutes. But does that prevent addiction? That's what I'm curious about. That's not too bad either. Though I kind of just forget about a lot of these items over and over and over again. Is it difficult being a doctor in such an old-fashioned community?
Even though we don't have shiny new medical facilities, I imagine it's easier than wherever you're from. We have fewer people here, and we're very responsible when it comes to our personal health and welfare. So there's not much I can't handle. For anything else, we can get access to off-world specialists. Contrary to popular belief, we're not primitive.
Yeah, you know, coming through the eyes of a person 300 years in the past. Yeah, I wasn't really thinking y'all were primitive. Are there any dangerous hazards to worry about on Titan?
It's a harsh world, but as long as you're inside or wear a suit when going out, you'll be fine here. There's no breathable air on the surface, and you'll quickly freeze to death outside without protective gear, but otherwise the hazards are minimal.
Oh yeah, okay.
It was an early colony research base and has stood the test of time. It's safe, and it's proof that people can live pretty much anywhere. Don't worry so much.
It does seem nice here. Why don't you like the tourists?
I don't. They make a mockery of new homestead culture. And on top of it, they're reckless. It's like I said before, I feel like I'm treating them more often than our own people.
That sounds frustrating. I wish there was something I could do.
Actually, maybe there is.
Oh.
I have an idea that may be best suited for someone relatively unknown, instead of myself. I've got a mountain of work and a reputation to maintain.
Huh?
So I bought a realistic monster costume. The plan was to wear it, scare tourists away, and start a rumor about terrible creatures living on Titan.
What?
I figure that once word gets around, tourism will take enough of a dive to give me some relief.
What? It sounds ridiculous. Do you really think it'll work?
Maybe, I'm not sure. I know it sounds crazy, but I don't have any other ideas. The tourism board flat out won't help me, and I don't have money in the budget to hire additional help. And you know these tourists will believe anything they see and hear. I think it's worth a shot. Worst case scenario, I'm back to square one.
Fuck it. Sure, I'll do it.
Oh, good. I was hoping not to have to do it myself, so I'm glad to have a volunteer. Here's the costume. I think this will work best on the surface, so just find a group and run up to them, acting like a convincing alien monster. With any luck, they'll run screaming and book the next flight out of here.
All right, monster costume added. So is it, oh my god, look at it! What the fuck? Rawr.
Have any questions so far?
No.
Hey, thanks for stopping by.
Ah! I have so much energy. I want to run around.
Yeah, that sounds about right for a kid.
Hope you're not looking to cause any trouble in that costume of yours.
That's exactly what I'm looking to do. I'm hoping this has the opposite effect, and people want to try and find the monster, and therefore business ends up booming.
Did you know that Earth had all sorts of cool animals? Actually, lots of planets do, but not this one. Sad, huh? My daddy says farming is really important, but I kind of want to do other things. Let me know if you have any other questions.
I don't, apparently. Bye!
Feel free to look around, but don't touch.
I'm here to eat your faces! All right. Oh, this is like unequip my boost pack. Hey, I gotta go in right ahead of you too.
Get away! Get away! Run away! No! Get away from me!
It's chasing me!
What's chasing you, huh? What's going on? Oh, God, kid, no!
Welcome to New Homestead.
I better run as well! Oh, no!
Wow.
You all can travel the stars, but someone's got to respect and preserve the old soul traditions.
Man, anybody who heard you from Soul, from Earth, 21st century, probably kick you in the shin.
Don't stay outside for too long here on Titan. You'll freeze solid without the proper protection.
Do you need medical assistance?
I scared off some tourists for you.
Oh, I'm glad it worked. Thanks for indulging me with my weird ideas. Tell you what, if you want to come back later and do this for me a couple more times, I'll even let you keep the costume.
Oh, God. Is that legit? Like, come back there? Oh, God. No? Okay. Oh, I should have taken a picture of myself in the
I want
costume.
to get a spaceship when I'm older. They're so cool.
I do have a spaceship. I've got a bunch.
Have any questions so far?
I'm ready for what's next.
Alrighty. we'll be taking the residential elevator to the farms area on the surface level. This way, please.
Now, I was just
Leave
up
these good
there.
people alone for now, and go check out the farms. Follow me up the elevator.
Morning? Or, well, actually, I don't know what fucking time it is in this area. It's 1:31 local time. Which, hey, since this is Seoul, that means it's just legit 1 a.m. Hold up, before I forget, I should re-equip my gear.
New Homestead's farms are the beating heart of the colony. Without them, the original outpost would have shriveled and died.
If you need medical attention, see Dr. Lakota. But a word of warning, she really doesn't care for tourists.
Survival in the early days of the colony.
Why'd they have to talk over him like that?
Any questions about the farms?
Well, we tend to farm here because we need to grow food. And that's what our ancestors did on Earth.
But didn't they have big open fields and giant machines? We don't have any of that.
She makes a good point, dear.
Yeah.
It's because we have a much smaller space to work with.
So
Have a good one.
it's not really the same, is it? How is it a tradition
Lots of
if it's not the
history
same
here,
thing as they did?
if you're into that sort of thing.
So then, why is it important that we preserve it?
I don't know, it just is. Now, we don't want to fall behind on work, so let's get back to it, okay, kiddo?
Okay, fine.
She had you cornered there,
We're
huh?
quite happy with our lives here. We don't need tourists distracting us with their flights of fancy.
Hey man, maybe you should just give the life a chance for everybody
Lots
else.
of other planets out there.
Any questions about the farms?
Let's see. What do they grow here?
These days, it's a mix of what you find elsewhere in the galaxy, but in the olden days, it was all brought over from Earth. It was a lot of hardy root vegetables like potatoes, carrots, beets, and such, supplemented with corn, peas, green beans, soy, etc., which didn't always grow as well.
Yeah, that's a good variety. How is this different than anywhere else in the galaxy?
Good question. It's largely the same, because this was the colony that pioneered the techniques you see elsewhere.
Ooh.
But you'll notice that the farms here are smaller and staffed by humans, not robots. Things here are a little more old-fashioned compared to some of the large factory farms you'll find elsewhere in the settled systems.
Are the farms still operational? Not looking around at all the clearly growing stuff?
Oh, they are indeed. Colonists still cultivate plant-based food for their own consumption here in New Homestead. It's less vital to their survival these days, as they also import supplemental food from other colonies, including meats, dairy, and synthetics. However, most citizens here take pride in a New Homestead-grown, sustainable diet.
Oh, hey, you know what? That means they get to have the freshest, most organic food. Well, I'm ready to move on.
Onward it is! We'll be stopping by the Brown Horse Tavern later in the tour, which uses many of these locally sourced ingredients in their cooking.
Sweet, I was hoping for that.
It's just a short way to our next stop. Follow me! So, the old biolabs are just on the other side of this building, believe it or not. We'll step on through the hallway there. They're not in use anymore, but the colony has faithfully recreated them as a historical exhibit, true to the original purpose of the Titan astrobase. Sadly, they're undergoing some light renovation. Otherwise, there'd be interactive activities for kids to learn about how they used to search for microbial life here.
Did they ever find that microbial life?
I could really go for some of Anya's cooking over the Brown Horse.
Pardon the dust, but I can still answer some questions about the old Titan astrobase biolabs.
What kind of life did they find here?
Funny you You should ask.
None.
Sadly, none. See, NASA funded the Titan Astrobase project because conditions seemed ripe for primordial life to form in Titan's methane pools. They tested many different sites, performed deep core ice drilling, and more, yet nothing turned up.
So that was it? What did they use these labs for after no life was found?
Well, NASA defunded the xenobiology program in 2132, but a scientist by the name of Catherine Neely proposed research into advanced colony building on inhospitable worlds.
Wow.
So, by 2135, work began on what would ultimately set us all up to create habitats anywhere humans dared to explore. These very labs housed the computer systems used in that research. That and general storage for the colony. Lots of storage.
Well, that is really impressive history. You keep mentioning the Titan Astrobase. What is that?
Oh, I'm sorry. I completely forgot to mention that. That's what this place was originally called. When NASA divested its interest in the Astrobase and turned it over to the people back in 2185, they renamed it New Homestead and established it as a historical site.
That makes sense. Okay. Well, I'm gonna take a closer look.
Sure thing. Keep in mind the biolabs exhibit is closed for visitors, but I'll be waiting if you need a minute anyway.
Are you sure I'm not allowed to come in here? Come on. Come on, let me into the biolabs.
I don't mind the tourists. They help a lot.
I'm going to see if there's a way in from the outside. Yeah, looks like no. Damn. Hey! Hey! Let me in! Alright, fine.
The people here live a simple life.
Almost got frostbite again or some. Protection regenerating. Protection capacity regenerating. Stay clear of hazardous areas. I'll certainly try.
Pardon the dust, but
Alright, we can keep moving.
You got it. On to our next stop. Next, we'll be heading outside, so make sure to check those seals on your suit because it's a bit chilly out there.
I was just out there.
The frozen wastes of Titan to see what powers this planet.
The wind generators?
Outside, by the way, the ice can be slippery if you're not careful. The goal is to keep people out of Dr. Lakota's infirmary.
Hey, I'm sure I don't think I can slip and fall.
Anyway, where were we? Oh, yes. Powering New Homestead. As you might imagine, generating energy was a real challenge back in the day because the technology was much more crude then. But crude or not, it was that technology that sustained the old Astrobase. And it might surprise you to learn that the same technology is still working today.
It doesn't surprise me. You guys keep talking about it.
The interesting thing about this old colony is that it's mostly powered by clean, renewable energy. You'll see one of the methods used on the horizon up ahead. That's right, New Homestead's famous wind farms. This spot was chosen for the colony in part because of its constant winds.
Why are some of the generators not turning?
The colony's functions since its establishment as a cheap, mostly reliable source of electricity.
I'm sorry. You Sarah, move. He wants that specific position. You gotta let the man do his tour in the right way.
So, let's talk about wind power, shall we?
Sure. I didn't think Titan was all that windy.
You're right. Most surface wind on Titan isn't too terribly strong, but here, the altitude and other conditions are perfect for sustained wind power. Like many worlds with atmosphere, the higher you go, the windier it gets.
What's so interesting about wind power? Why is it part of the tour?
You're looking at a piece of history. Sure, wind power is used throughout the galaxy, but these people were able to make do with it for hundreds of years. It's impressive that was all they had back then, and still make it work to this day.
Do these turbines really power the entire colony?
Mostly. I'm sure you've noticed the occasional brownouts. I guess these old machines have a habit of freezing up, what with all the ice out here. There's some methane on reserve for critical life support systems, but everything else here is otherwise powered by the units you see here.
Okay, I mean, I figured you had some kind of backup system, but we gotta get y'all some better ones. Well, I want to take a close look.
Absolutely. Careful, though. I wouldn't stand too close to the turbines if I were you.
That sounds like jump into the turbine to me. Woo! Bill, you see that? I made it through without hitting the turbine. Whoa! All right.
So, let's talk about...
Let's move on.
You're the boss. Let's go. Moving right along, we're going to learn about Titan's great natural resources. Titan is rich with hydrocarbons like methane and ethane. Surely you saw huge pools of the stuff on your descent into New Homestead.
I've seen something like that.
So of course, stay away from them because, like anything beautiful, they can be dangerous. Just like my last ex.
Do you have any clue how irresponsible you're acting right now?
It was an accident.
I don't know what
Put your suit on, Sarah.
Creature. The guy that sold it to her couldn't tell her what it was or where it was from. I don't think it was even a legal sell, to be honest. The thing was very easy on the eyes. Feathers, all the colors of the rainbow. Nasty bite, though. Wound up in the hospital and almost lost my hand.
Oh my god.
Still not enough for her to get rid of the dang thing. Anyway, there's a reason she's my ex-wife.
Because it ate her?
Enough about me. We were talking about methane and other resources, right?
You said you were gonna show me the pools, yeah.
Hey, can you believe it? Back in the 20th century on Earth, they used to fight wars over natural resources like this and petroleum. They had this whole moon here basically made of hydrocarbons in their own backyard. They just couldn't get to it. Incredible how far we've come. New Homestead is home to one of the oldest and largest methane processing plants in the settled system. Every year, UC engineers go through a painstaking, month-long maintenance process. That's how this place has remained operational as long as it has.
Month-long every single year, huh? Goddamn.
Liability and all, but I can still answer questions. Questions? Fire away.
How can they shut the plant down for maintenance if people rely on it to live?
Yeah, it's not as if they shut down for a month. It's not shut down at all, actually. See, this place is built with redundant systems, so they can shut it down piece by piece and suffer only a reduction in throughput.
Smart.
During that time, the UC gets more of its resources from other places, allowing New Homestead to maintain what it needs.
Alright, what do they do with all this methane?
Exports mostly, since this world is so methane rich and has the infrastructure for it, a lot of the UC's methane comes from Titan. Of course, new homesteaders use it themselves for everything from generating heat to turning it into breathable oxygen via modern science.
Yeah, you don't just... Yeah, I was gonna say, how do they turn the methane into oxygen?
Oh, no one's ever asked me that before. Something to do with methane-eating microbes, I believe? I honestly don't know. Sorry.
That is cool, but alright. No more questions right now.
Okie dokie, artichoke. There will be time for more later anyway. So, this next stop is a bit of an interesting one. I only recently made it part of the tour. Fun fact, it's also the only natural landmark on the tour.
Oh yeah, the giant fucking rock over here?
It's a glacial spire we affectionately call Emir's Horn.
Ooh.
This colus used to be named after a character in a popular fantasy novel, but it was changed a couple hundred years ago to avoid any potential litigation.
What?
What's a colus, you might say? Colus derives from the Latin word for hill, and scientists only gave names to groups of hills on a planet's surface. So in reality, the term you hear more often is the plural, coles, with an E. You probably don't hear it very often where you're from, because it was usually a term reserved for unexplored planets, back when they didn't have the technology to describe what they were seeing firsthand. Because of that, the term is much more common in the Sol system, but you may still hear it occasionally in reference to uncharted worlds. This planet's full of them, though, and they like to preserve that history here.
You are right. I don't think I have heard the term coles before. Not in the way that I remember it, at least.
So here it is, Emir's Horn. You're free to take a closer look if you like.
Can I run on top of it? Oh, hey, geology. Coles are more like hills. Are you sure this isn't an ancient fumaroloric ice tower?
How about that? You really know your stuff. Maybe you should be the one giving the tour. I kid.
I can do it.
I heard someone say that before. Something about the worn-down remains of an ancient volcano producing ice via steam? I don't know. It sounds like you understand this stuff better than I do.
That does sound really cool. Emir? Who's that?
According to ancient Norse mythology, Emir was the first Jotun, a frost giant. In the legend, they were both male and female and gave birth to the progenitors of all giants from their armpits.
Whoa.
Emir even predated the Norse gods, who, as it turns out, killed Emir to fashion the earth and all of humanity from the corpse. It's a fascinating story, and the horn here is a fitting tribute to it.
Okay, I'll be right back.
Just be careful, it can get slippery out that way. I'll wait here.
Hey, you encouraged me to go check it out. Emir's Horn. The whole thing's marked as titanium. Damn. I was like, what if I put an outpost on top of Emir's Horn? You know, there's where they pull out the methane. That makes sense. The big-ass methane ocean. Sheesh. Hey, Sarah put her, her suit on. I do really like the way it looks with the helmets that you can actually see people's faces with. It's a shame we've got so many helmets that don't let us see the face in, but it's alright. It's not like they show our character's face anyways. I'm actually really surprised. I know, you know, like, yeah, obviously our character isn't voiced, so there's no like facial movement to even show, but there's just zero back and forth. Like, if I never went into third person, I'd never see my character's face.
So here it is, Emir's.
I guess there are a few things that have forced us to see our face. Or at least be in third person for like an animation. Well, I think I'm done here.
Excellent. On to the next stop then. So, we're gonna head back inside through the methane processing plant. Try not to touch anything on your way.
So pull out an explosive gun.
Dakota's wishes to be safer around here. That brings me to another point. You'll notice the people around here have last names related to where their families originated from on Earth as a way to remember the past.
Ah.
The museum curator, Maurice Leon, has more information about that if you're interested. You can find him inside the main concourse. Loves talking about it.
I haven't seen him.
Most of the locals here are very friendly to tourists like yourself. Tourism is a major draw to this colony these days, and I respect that. Most of them are happy to talk at length about what they do here. Their rugged lifestyle is a point of pride for a lot of these folks.
I keep on, like, sleepily having my finger descend into the mouse button. It's not good. Man, we really did rip this guy off. This tour is big. 100 credits is nothing. I might as well have ripped him off for a penny. And yet I still, you know, I still got it for free. Bill? I've been left alone around dangerous equipment. Ah!
Just got a message. Looks like we got another leak in Sector 3.
This area we're walking through is the nerve center of the plant, where technicians keep an eye on the operation.
I know.
Since methane production is such an important part of the colony's livelihood, it's important that the techs notice any issues and react to them quickly. Anyway, we're headed into the ice mines. It's a natural spring where water bubbles up from deep below, but due to the cold, it keeps freezing as it reaches the surface.
That sounds cool. I'm so surprised at how big this place is.
You're welcome to keep your suit on if you'd like. As you might expect from a place called the ice mines, it can get a little chilly. It takes miners working daily to clear the ice, melt it down, and keep the water flowing.
If it is too chilly, we'll put our suit on. You know, if it gets to like negative 100 or something, but I think we're fine. Whoa. Been a while since we've seen a sort of mining operation like this. Although here they're just mining ice.
What else can I tell you about the ice mines?
Let's see. Why not heat this area like the rest of the colony?
Good question. I believe it has something to do with not wanting to contaminate the water with methane and other chemicals.
Ah.
The ice helps prevent impurities in the water. At least this is what I've been told.
Okay, that's smart. Is this where all of New Homestead's water come from?
Not all. Some water is created as a byproduct of methane processing, but that's usually saved in the emergency reserves.
Okay. I'm thirsty. Can I drink straight from the source?
I wouldn't recommend it. First, it's an active work site. Second, it still needs to be filtered and checked for contaminants. But don't worry, we'll stop somewhere for refreshments before the tour is over.
Yay! Well, I'm ready to go check out more, I guess. Well, actually, I guess we can look around.
Watch your step. It can get slick around here. I'll stay behind.
Sure would be nice to get off-world sometime.
It must be difficult trying to survive when this collection of shipping containers is all you have for permanent accommodations.
Sarah, this isn't even the right place for you to be saying that. But all right, let's take a dip! Woo! All right. Nothing like a little bit more hypothermia. I've had it a few times, might as well get it again. Ah, refreshing.
Hi there. Always nice seeing a new face.
Oh, what was that? Oh, fuck yeah! Oh, I almost missed this!
People on other planets have it easy. Free-flowing water, fresh from lakes and rivers. Not here.
Yeah, you guys gotta work for your water, sheesh.